Everybody, Grant Miller here. Miami Communities. I'm with Karl. How do you pronounce the last name?
Wiegandt.
Wiegandt?
Yes.
Wow, Wiegandt. Karl's with Berry Farm. Let's talk about you. Before we get to Berry Farm, let's talk about you. Grew up in Miami?
No, I actually grew up in New York City. Queens.
Wow. Okay, and when did you move to Miami?
13 years old.
And what school were you enrolled in?
So we moved down here in December of '89. So I actually got down here mid-season and went to the hammocks to start, actually. And that was kind of the beginning. So I lived in the hammocks, walked to school, got driven to school right there.
And then did you play baseball, football? How big were you at 13?
Oh, I don't even know. I wasn't not as big as some of these kids nowadays. I think I was just a normal size.
But I know you pitched at Westminster. Correct?
I did.
When did you train
So I went to hammocks until obviously 8th grade. 9th grade I went to Sunset because that was my zone.
Right.
Westminster that was the Alex Rodriguez year. So they were starting to be, a big deal and everybody's talking about them. So I wound up going to my 10th grade year was my first year. 1994 was Westminster. 94, 95, 96.
Who was on your team?
Okay, 94, we had the leftovers. A-Rod's year had just finished. So we had, Tosca was on that team. Robert Perez was on that team. Jimmy Gutierrez, Pee Wee Lopez. But really, 96 was the year that
Pee Wee, is that Mickey?
No, Mickey was earlier, though.
Okay.
Raymond Mickey Lopez. He was, I think, Mickey, don't quote me. I think he was 1990 when he finished. But then 96.
And back then he looked like he was 50. Holy cow. I got to check that birth certificate.
He was good, I know. He still looks the same, though.
Right.
He still looks 50, right?
Right.
And so, but no, Mickey's a good guy. So then in 96, we had pitchers were myself, Brad Dupree, and Keith Bryce, all local guys right in the area there. And then you had Jason Moore, you had Jose Nicholas, Manny Crespo, Raul Pujols. I'm probably going to forget guys, but you had a really good squad of guys.
Who's the coach?
Hoffman, of course. The legend himself, Hoffman. So you had a good group of guys. Everyone pretty much played Division I. A couple guys got drafted out of high school. And then,
even though people say, well, this school. Back then, you have 4 or 5 playing D1. You were loaded.
Oh, yeah, we had like 10 or 11. I mean, we had Duke, we had Florida commits, we had Vandy guys, we had Texas guys. We had like 3 University of Miami guys.
Did you guys win states? You lost in states?
Better. We were actually #1 in the country that year.
As a junior or senior?
My senior year.
Wow.
We were the #1 team in the country in 96, yeah.
Wow.
So 92 and 96 were #1 and 92 with A-Rod, of course. That was, an incredible team. I think 4 big leaguers on that team. And then 96 was #1 in the country also.
So when A-Rod left, that year you came in.
Correct.
And people don't know about A-Rod that he was a great football player.
Yeah, he's just a talent.
And
basketball, too.
You're right. I was just going to say outstanding basketball player.
Yeah.
So you went from what college did you go?
Then I went to, actually for my first year I signed, it was a debate between my dad and I. It was between University of Florida and University of Miami. So I chose University of Florida. My dad chose University of Miami. My dad won. So I went to University of Miami for 1 year. And realized it didn't really have, baseball was great. At that time, it was Jim Morris, Laser Carriazo, and Turtle Thomas. So the coaching was fantastic there.
Right.
Pat Burrell on that team, Aubrey Huff on that team, Jason Michaels on that team. Those are 3 big leaguers that played for a while right there.
Right.
But I didn't really get the college experience. It was dropped off.
Were you living at home?
I was still living at home. Yeah. So I decided after that season I was going to transfer over to Florida, and I played Florida.
Did you have to sit out a year?
No. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't.
Okay.
I think they released me pretty much. They were fine.
Okay.
And so wound up getting hurt my second year up at Florida. So it was more of a,
You mean your first year at Florida?
Second year up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Second year up at Florida. Or second year of college, I guess, my sophomore year. And so wound up redshirting. It was never the same as it was in high school. I was always a really good pitcher in high school, but once I hurt my shoulder, tore my shoulder all up, it was a shadow of what I once was. So wound up finishing playing baseball, and then...
But you had great college life.
Oh, great college life. It's tough to go to University of Florida and not have a great college life.
Right.
Being on your own, playing baseball, practicing, waking up, classes, the whole thing. The nice thing about college sports is, I always talk about, and I have 2 boys and a little girl. College sports prepares me better for life than anything else, than any class I ever took, than any, lecture I ever listened to.
Who's the coach of Florida?
Andy Lopez. Tough. Short little guy.
What's short?
Hard. Short. How tall are you?
5'6".
5'6".
That's short. Holy cow! Did you fear him?
I don't know. I don't fear anybody. I respected him. I didn't really fear him, But I'll tell you a funny story. So he was a Christian guy, right? So we go out to, I think it was LSU. We play out in LSU one time. And we had a good team, too. We had Mark Ellis, Brad Wilkerson, Josh Fogg, David Ross. We had a bunch of big leaguers on that team, too. So we get swept by LSU. We come back. And Mondays are, I think, just our conditioning day, right? So he shows up, and he's walking out. And it was shorts that day and the shirt. He's walking out with his right hand up. Everyone's like, this guy. And he was known to be a little bit crazy, but he always got the most out of his players. So he was fun to be with. So he puts his right hand up and he says, hey, guys, really animated, like you are, very animated. I just want to let you know, I have already asked God for forgiveness for what I'm about to do to you. No, so you talk about fear?
Right.
That was a fearful moment of us because we thought, this guy's nuts. And I don't remember what we did, but most of the team was probably throwing up by the end of the session.
That's all right.
And it makes it tougher.
All right, so you graduate University of Florida.
Graduate University of Florida. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for work-wise. First job I had right out was, you remember you would go and you'd like represent the Marlins or you'd represent Pizza Hut or Domino's and you would knock on people's doors.
Yeah, and you sell coupons.
Sell coupons. Well, I was told that we're a great marketing firm and we represent all the companies around. And I thought, oh, wow, this is great. I would love to work with the Marlins. I didn't realize it was knocking on doors to sell the coupons, right? So I thought, this is probably not going to be for me right now. So I left that after about 1 hour.
Okay.
And
it's not on your resume.
It's not on my resume. I never put it on there. And then I wound up getting an interview for a mortgage company in the Grove, Family America Mortgage, the following week and started the following day pretty much. So September was my first time I ever made money, but that would have been 2001.
Okay.
So in 2001, May of 2001, I started selling mortgages. Got out of college like May 15th, started by May 30th, I was starting. No vacation, no backpack through Europe, no fun times, no. Get right to work.
Started
selling mortgages. Got my first check in September. 100% commission at the time. I know some people laugh. I say 100% commission, but there was no base salary or anything.
Right.
So get out of college, lose your identity as baseball that you once had for a long time, and start into something new. And mortgages was great. I did mortgages all the way up. So fast forward all the way up until 2007. And I got married in 2002.
Who?
2002.
To who?
Daisha.
Where did you meet Daisha?
Actually met at school, Westminster. Met at Westminster.
Were you dating through college?
We dated through most of college. We dated. We had some time to breathe and to give each other a little bit of space, but through most of the college.
Now she's stuck with you.
Now she's stuck. Now she's stuck with me. Now she's got no choice. So we wound up getting married in 2002, but got engaged in 2001, September 2001. Actually, we got engaged right after 9/11 came. I think that was on a Tuesday. We got engaged on that Friday. I think the 14th. I don't remember the date right. So I did mortgages all the way up until 2007. Then I hung out and played golf from 2007 for about 6 months and didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I didn't know what. I had no idea. I knew maybe I wanted to stay with something in real estate. Right? So wound up, unfortunately, tough circumstance in the family brought my introduction into farming and into agriculture, which was my wife's grandfather, who was really a pioneer down in this part of the city, Jack Wishart. He had an accident on a farm, and he wound up passing away in June of 07, I believe. In June of 07, yeah. So he's one of the pioneers of South Dade, farming land, Redland. He was one of the people. He was his name's still a legacy down there. Yeah.
And it changed the way people think of South Dade. And when to South Dade, to you and me, it's different. But most people think it's Homestead, but South Dade is all the farming in the whole area.
It's all the agriculture community back before all the houses have been built. And so he came down and started clearing pine and timber back and putting it on the rails back in the 50s and 60s. And then he got into growing tomatoes and always stuck with the vine ripe tomato, which is still what we grow as well. It's just a vine ripe tomato, not a gas green tomato. And I mean, we ship them to Publix still today. We ship tomatoes every single day to Publix. That's kind of our main deal, and everything else branches off, including Berry Farm kind of branches off of.
Everybody thinks it's just Berry Farm. There's so much more.
Yeah, there is. And the U-Pick, Salter, Kendall, and stuff. So there's a lot of tentacles that stretch out, and Berry Farm is just one of them. And the evolution of Berry Farm is, the whole agritourism world of people wanting to come out to the farm and come out to our space, and us giving them the opportunity to do that.
I'm jumping around because isn't your mother-in-law like Miss Pink Cadillac?
My wife is.
Oh, she's the one.
My wife.
Oh,
is. Yeah.
I.
So my wife started Mary Kay right when we got out of college. Super motivated. Super motivated.
She drives the pink Cadillac.
She does well. She drove it for like the first 15 years, and then they can also give them a cash compensation.
Right.
So she got a separate car, and now the pink Escalade. It's an Escalade now. She'll get that in the next month or two. She just got it redone. So yeah. So the great thing about that car, I always tell her, it makes so much sense to get that car because you can put all the miles on it, all the wear and tear, all the bumps, dings, scratches, whatever it is. And when it's time for 3 years to get the new one, you give them the keys and you take the keys to the new one, and you don't have to worry about over mileage or fixing dents.
How long has your wife been in Mary Kay?
Oh boy, since 2001, 22 years, 23 years.
She's one of the top producers in the country in Florida.
She is one of the top in the country. Yeah, she's been one of the top in the country for the last. Should be top 15 in the country every single year. Yeah.
Wow. All right, so let's get to Berry Farm. So
yeah,
Berry Farm is how many acres?
We're on 30 acres. 30 acres total. We start with the first 10 is parking, and then the buildings and the food and all the kids, and what people don't realize in those playground areas is there's a lot of sensory balance, strength, coordination that is involved in all of them, from the playground sets to the whole rope course and that little obstacle ninja rope course, and even to the jumping pillow. You and you jumped on a jumping pillow, right?
Right.
How long did you last?
About 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
You bounce right off. It's not easy.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Jump on that thing you got kids that jump on that thing for 30 minutes. And so the great thing about the Berry Farm in those areas right there is that you're able to sit back, relax, really enjoy the agricultural environment of being down in South Dade with only 20, 25, 15 minutes.
So you have 30 acres, right? Is that where now you have the strawberry fields on one side, you have sunflowers. Yeah. What's in the back?
The back rotates. Sometimes we'll grow pumpkins back there. Sometimes I'll grow watermelons back there. Sometimes we'll have...
Where's the tomatoes grown? On that property?
No. We grow about 150 acres of tomatoes. So it's grown everywhere.
Where's that?
So we'll grow in different plots. So it's typically 15, 20, 40 acre plots from Kendall Drive and 167. And they come all the way down south to 248th Street in US 1. So if you draw like a box over there, we're in different plots.
I did not know that.
Yeah. There's several reasons why we do that. Land is different, from Kendall Drive all the way to 240th. Land is different. It could be sand, it could be more rock land, it could be, a lighter soil, a heavier soil. So we spread it out there. Also, too, living here in South Florida, that you can have a downpour storm right here, and then 3 streets down the road is beautiful.
Right.
So also to kind of hedge us, because you got the tomatoes in different stages, so that all of our tomatoes are not in one area and they don't all experience adverse weather conditions.
Gotcha.
Spread them around a little bit, yeah.
All right, so you got tomatoes. So let's talk about Berry Farm, because it's...
Yeah.
Are you going? How many thousands of people go there?
Oh, I don't know. It depends.
Good answer.
I will say I know. We never want to say how many people come, but here's the thing with the Berry Farm, is that our busiest time is October. We get really busy during October, and those are always the toughest times for us to handle the crowds and the food and the water and the demands of everyone, but also try to maintain ordinance and have enough pumpkins, and it's a lot, and we ask a lot of the staff. But we do drop off and calm down January and February. Even though as a business owner, I don't want to calm down, but we do. That's just the way that the business works. But then we do ramp up for this time of the year with the Flower Festival. So we go from Flower Festival for the next 5 weeks with the zinnias and the sunflower maze, and just really the beauty of springtime really starting to set.
You got Rib Fest coming up too, don't you?
And then Rib Fest, but we also have Easter coming too, and Easter is one of the busiest days there. And we do the egg hunts for the kids, and we have the Easter bunny and the pictures, and the weather typically is really nice during that time of the year. We have live music that we have now. That's really been something that we've introduced, is the live music part of it.
Well, I want to talk about the brewery. I know that you talk about brewery, but when people go there, the sunflowers. Yeah. Somebody told me, I don't know who, that there's like 100,000 Instagram views of your sunflowers all the time.
I know it's funny.
And somebody told me it's like how popular it is.
It's a lot. I always tell, so across the country, you've got all these agritourism locations that we all join together, and I tell them, look, we grow strawberries and blackberries and raspberries, and you do pumpkin and this and that. I said, listen, just do sunflowers. If you're ever going to put the sunflowers up, people love the sunflowers. You have to have everything else to go along with it. But the sunflowers are really popular. For us, we found a really good variety. And I always joke with people, I say, we're the berry farm. But I say, look at our pictures, look at our tags. We should be like the sunflower farm, because it's mostly all sunflower pictures. You wouldn't even know we grow strawberries if you really looked at just the tags.
People love Especially women love taking pictures with sunflowers.
They do. Yeah, we've had all
And
kinds
then
of fun stuff out there.
people can buy them, right?
Yeah.
Cut their own.
Yeah.
How quick does sunflowers grow?
About 60 days. So we try to do, sunflowers are good, I feel like they're a good fair bloom for about 12 to 14, 15 days. So what we try to do is plant every 14 days a new crop. Doesn't always work out that way because unfortunately we have wind, we have cold, we have heat, we have rain. And so that does change the duration that they mature at or how long they last for. But throughout that whole time, we try to maintain sunflowers at least. But the largest crop of sunflowers starts this weekend and will go through the next 5 weeks.
When the season's not in for the sunflowers, do they go to the ground or do they the stems?
We don't plant them. We cut them down, we disc it, we keep that land pretty bare and get it ready just to kind of give the soil time to rest and get back any nutrients that we can get back into it.
All right. So the berry farm, people travel from where to where? Is it mostly local business or people from Broward, Keys?
We've got people from the Keys. So if you talk about the Keys, we have field trips from the Keys too. We do quite a bit of field trips. Every day there's 2 or 3 field trips, it seems like.
For recreation or for education?
For both recreation and education. It starts out with an educational tour and they learn about growing what we do to grow sunflowers or to grow pumpkins or watermelons, which we feature.
But you can't see the watermelons from there. You have to walk.
Yeah, they're not. The difficult thing with watermelons is if you grow them there, people don't really know when to pick them. Just because they're big and green doesn't mean they're red on the inside. Strawberries are easy.
I thought you put a hole and you put vodka in there.
No, you could do that. You could just cut up the top straw. You can make it work for sure. But it's tough to get people the right time, and so we really grow most of the watermelons off-site, and then we'll just bring them on in.
Okay. The Rib Fest.
Yeah, Rib Fest. That's a fun time.
Last year I judged it.
Yeah.
The barbecue, it was just unbelievable. People don't realize the competition was unbelievable last year. I understand you got some new people coming in.
This year is going to be awesome. We have 7 different, I don't know if we want to call them contestants, restaurants, caterers, but really restaurants and locations. And one of the reasons, there's several reasons why we've thought, you know what, let's do a Rib Fest. Springtime is a great time, outdoors. People love eating barbecue, but people don't know where to get barbecue down here.
That's correct.
One of the issues. So we've really got a big hand and a big role in promoting local. That's one of the things, in my church says support your local farmer, but support your local business is really what our whole motto is too. Stay home, stay close together, visit your mom and pop shops. And so when it comes to restaurants, and we know through COVID restaurants really took a hit, there's a lot of great restaurants out here that maybe don't promote, they're not a chain, they're small, they're in a community, but you never think, well, let's go visit. And you can visit it online on our webpage. On our flyer, we show all of the people that are going to be coming. We've already started promoting them.
Yeah, the way you go, you have judges who judge
the
Rib Fest, but as a consumer, you get in and you can buy food from any of the vendors, correct?
Yeah, they're all set up.
And you have a band going on too.
We've got the live music going on. Yes, we've got the ribs are going, and we try to do like a taste. So like 2 ribs. So because when I go somewhere, I want to taste a little bit of everything. So the main competition is going to be given to the judges. I think we have a 7-panel judge again this year. But then as the consumer, as coming in just to enjoy the day and enjoy, the music, you can also taste a little bit of ribs from all the different people that are competing.
Everybody thinks my ribs and your ribs are the same. They're completely different.
Every
chef is completely, they all have their own little madness to it. And the great thing about the Rib Fest as a consumer, you get to meet the chefs right there. He's not behind. He's not hiding. Or her.
Yeah,
they're right out there.
They're making them there, and everyone thinks they've got the best rib. I think we have the best rib, but
you're chefs.
And we're going to compete too. But it is total. Last year, listen, it's totally anonymous, right? It's given by number 3, number 4, number 6, number 8, and judges just go down, taste them, and go. But it's the same ribs, so we use a St. Louis cut.
So everybody you give them ribs?
I give them their racks, their competition racks. Now they can sell whatever they want. They like a baby back, or they like a spare rib.
Yeah, but the
judges get the same exact rib. They get a 2.75 to 3 pound St. Louis cut rack. Each group gets 2 or 3 racks, and out of that they pick out their best 7 or 8 ribs to present to the judges.
I'm jumping around. Yeah, just had a seafood competition.
I know.
That was good.
That was great. The only issue was the rain. But it was amazing.
The rain came and went.
So we had La Playa, we had Pub Grill, we had.
Who's a great guy.
I
don't know,
Golden
but
Rule.
I'm just about the pub.
And we had Berry Farm didn't do one. There was one other one.
One individual guy.
It was
But I mean,
we had Mr. C's Mustard Seed too, and he did the conch, and he's located right there too by our deal.
The great thing about it, you got to talk to them, whether they're prepping.
Yeah.
So it was exciting.
I mean, their food blew me away. You know, it was, well, let's do a seafood festival. People want to come out. I think anytime you can do festivals and get people out a time to celebrate something besides, oh, we're going to go eat a burger or chicken tenders, you know, and it's a new thing that we've done. I thought the seafood festival, it blew me away because I thought, well, you know, who's coming? Pub Grill doesn't have seafood in the name. What is it? Their stuff was incredible. Golden Rule, you know, was great, but what they brought was amazing. The conch salad was really, I mean, every single thing that we had. La Playa with the paella, I thought
they knocked it out of the park. I don't remember who won, but they knocked out. Their presentation was beautiful. That big.
It was. I mean, it was incredible, and you know, and I'm a food person. You know, I love cooking. I'll try everything in YouTube and everything. I jump on there, but what people are able to do and express themselves and express what they love, express their heritage, and you know, most of cooking food, that's just it's a labor of love. It's a work of art. It's a labor of love. You know?
It's a work of art.
It is, and so this gives them the opportunity. Everyone thinks they have the best rib, so we say, let's go. Let's see who's got the best rib. Whether you like a wet rub or a dry rub, or you like a lot of smoke, you like a 3-2-1 method.
But people don't know the difference. That the regular consumer.
People that know ribs should know the difference, though, right?
Right.
I mean, you know, a wet rub is exactly that. It's got barbecue sauce all over it. The dry rub is cleaner, and we always do a dry rub at the farm. You like dry rub, and you can add the sauce if you want.
See, I don't like. I want to know what the chef really does.
You want
to? It's like you go to a steakhouse and order sauce. No, don't insult the chef.
I get it. I know.
It's called a dry rub.
A dry rub.
All right. So, you know, to me, Berry Farm was almost like going to the University of Miami baseball game with kids.
Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but you know the kids are pretty safe there.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, you get there and you know the park's huge.
Yeah.
But you feel safe and your your security.
That's a good comparison.
You know, when your children were little, you go to UM, just run around.
Yeah.
Like there, you feel comfortable. How many employees do you have? Full and part.
On our high season, we'll go over 100. Then we'll back up. So that whole October time, 100, and even once you put the whole parking together, 120. Because Saturday and Sundays, I've got to have 15 people that just come park cars.
Just what I've noticed, you have a lot of local kids.
Yeah.
A lot of them go to Homestead and South-Dade High School.
Yeah.
And it's in the front, Miami-Dade College. A lot of local kids. I don't really, when entrance you talk to people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Yeah, they stay busy. Yeah, we do. We're blessed to have a really good employee relationship with the surrounding communities, from South Dade and Homestead. I mean, a lot of the people, a lot of the kids, and that's where we pick up a lot of labor is, you know, the 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are still in high school that want to make some extra money, and they only have the weekends. It works out great for us because that's really when we get busier.
So why are your shakes so good? I mean, not that I have 2 or 3 each time I go.
I know. You know, I would love to tell you why they are so good. I don't know. The recipes, so I have nothing to do with the shakes. I would love to say, but that recipe actually comes all the way back from Bird's Berry Farm, and we'll give them credit also because we started. You know, the Berry Farm kind of started as we took over Bird's Berry Farm back in 2013, and that's where we got the vision of, oh wait, this strawberry U-Pick facility and location and venue can turn into much more. So let's test out. 2017 was the first year that we did a pumpkin patch and a harvest festival and a corn maze. And there we kind of got our roots, you know, put in the ground and kind of said, okay, this is something that we can maybe go with. And so once we got the opportunity to move to a location, it gave us the space to really open up and to be able to really hone in on some of the things that we were missing, which were bathrooms are a huge thing. You know, people now don't pay attention to the bathrooms at Berry Farm, but they're seriously real bathrooms.
No. And then the great thing about your bathrooms, I love, is the outside.
Yeah,
you can wash your hands.
Yeah, somebody loves it.
No, but it's kind of a country feeling.
Yeah,
I mean, you can have more, but outside people, you know, if I want to clean my hands, I don't want to go into the bathroom after I picked up strawberries, and you wash your hands outside. Speak about strawberry. As a kid growing up here, I remember my parents used to take me to strawberry fields. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought it was the coolest thing, and they're nasty, old beat up strawberries on the ground. I'm picking them up. But I remember my days, we used to go to Kendall Drive.
Yeah.
But kids love picking strawberries.
They love it. And for the parents too. You know, when like you're saying, you know, you sit at the University of Miami baseball game, and my kids go also, and now one of my boys drives, so it's great. He can go by himself, and that's his Friday night out or Saturday night.
I know, I see him.
You see him all the time, right? What great place to go to the baseball game. So here, when I designed and when we designed the berry farm, I said I want to sit at this picnic table and just move in slow increments and be able to keep an eye on my kid. So if your child just has to go wash their hands or do something, you can sit at one of the picnic tables, look right across, and he's outside washing his hand, and he comes back into the action. And so the bathrooms were a big deal. The shade was a big deal. Food, being able to give more options on food was a big deal. And the last one was parking, because I guarantee that the neighbors all on 127 and 216 for a while, when we would have big events, the parking was down the road, and the lines were, you know, pretty much on the road also. So we took the, jumping back to the question, we took the milkshake recipe from Idina Burr back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And a lot of the girls, some of the girls in the milkshake still, they work for me there, they still work over here at the berry farm, and we just brought that on over. It's the same recipe. I haven't changed it.
All right, let's talk about. We talked about Rib Fest. We talked about the flower event. You have parties here all the time. You have weddings, right?
We do. We've done some weddings. Really, the weddings.
You had a big religious dinner event.
We had
a couple hundred people.
We did. That was a really neat event.
That was for kids.
That was for Young Life. We did that on a nighttime. It was a Saturday night. We had 250 people. It was, everyone said the same thing. This place is amazing. This place is great.
So the park's closed, and then people could rent your big facilities.
Yes. So they can come. And the one thing with weddings that makes it difficult is the bride and the groom want everything to be perfect, and I understand that. They want everything to be closed off in that deal. In order for us to do that, we got to shut the farm down for that particular day. So it makes it tough. During the summertime, we're open to do that, but it's a little bit hotter, and so it's tougher. But for nighttime events, for special events, for closing the farms down, we do them at nighttime. We cater any kind of menu that you really want catered for your needs.
So you got big events, you got birthday parties.
All kinds of birthday parties, all kinds of celebrations.
Didn't you rent the whole park out a year or two of UTD? Is that the whole park?
It was the United Teachers of Dade.
I remember
they did. It was the whole entire, but there was like 4,000 people at one time. Let me tell you, that tested us to the max as far as being able to serve that many people in a 2-hour period. But it wasn't a private rental. They actually just worked within our normal guest crowd.
That's great.
So it worked out good. So we didn't have to close the whole farm down just for them. But yeah, I mean, you know, the thing with the farm is it's 30 acres. It's outdoors. It's kind of what they use the term bougie now down here. It's kind of a bougie look. It's not like just the what you would typically think of a cattle farm, but it is nice. The grounds are well kept, maintained really well. And it gives you, the whole idea of the venue is to give you the opportunity to create whatever space and whatever event you want in this location.
I've been watching over the years. Each year you're adding new things, and you're adding new walk paths.
We're adding walk paths for ADA accessibility. That was one thing that we're in constant contact with our social media group and our communications groups. And through that, I asked them, listen, what is the feedback? What is the feedback? What is the feedback? And I never want to know the positives. I always ask, what's the negative? What are people complaining about? And what kept coming back was, you know, people in wheelchairs or moms with strollers pushing them on a White Rock is very challenging.
Correct.
So we said, okay, well, let's see what we can do that keeps aesthetically, doesn't have just a farm full of concrete. That was one thing I wasn't for. And aesthetically, it kind of flows in nicely to where, let's say, someone on a walker that doesn't want to walk over the White Rock, how can they get back to the sunflowers, at least to the back main pavilion? And so last summer, we put in the paths, and I think it's worked out really well.
Some new things you brought on. You had Christmas lights.
We had a big thing of Christmas lights.
Your Instagram hits must have been hundreds of thousands.
There were a lot. Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but they were a lot. People love it. You know, just always trying to test ourselves out and trying to give the space a new vibe and a new theme, and not just kind of do the same thing over and
you did
over
Halloween
and over.
too.
Oh man, we did Halloween.
People
did
loved
Halloween
it
this year. Yeah, I think Halloween was incredible. We had a spooky, scary corn maze, and then tractor rides that were scary through a separate corn maze that was strictly put up just for the hayride. And I think it was incredible. I think people loved it. A different component to South Dade that it never had.
And different customers.
Different customers.
A whole different vibe.
Yeah, because that catered more toward the teens. You know, we really had under 11 years old that was with a parent, even though there were some, 9 and 10 year olds that went there. But really it was that 12 to 18-year-old group that now was able to come out to the farm, because that's, the 16, 17, 18-year-old group is kind of the in-between. They don't really go down slides anymore.
Right.
They don't really jump on the jumping pillow, although during the senior days and stuff, they definitely do. So that's kind of been their little niche. Also, we've been able to give them an opportunity to really enjoy the farm. And nighttime at the farm, I always say, is we don't open up at nighttime that often, but it's probably the most magical time.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's great.
All right, we got a few seconds left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your kids.
Yeah.
You have a 16-year-old?
I have a 16-year-old Austin.
Can he outbench you, outsquat you?
Unfortunately, yes, he can. He happens to enjoy the
Austin,
gym.
you hear me? His son's name's Austin, right?
Austin, yeah.
Yeah, my older son's name's Austin.
Oh, there you go.
Austin, you hear that? You outbench and outsquat your dad.
He definitely outsquats, you know. At our age now, we start squatting, we start to get that
Right.
cramp.
All right, so he plays baseball.
So he plays baseball at Westminster, yeah. He's on varsity, 10th grade.
They got baseball games all the time.
All the time they got games now. They got another game tomorrow night, Friday night. They'll play Florida Christian at home.
Emil, your
Yeah.
baseball coach, he's an interesting man. He says, if you want to be the best, you got to play against the best.
Yeah, they put together a schedule for sure. I mean, I will say every single game, you know, we play in the Gullivers or the Dourals or the Stoneman Douglas. It doesn't matter who it is. Every single game is not only a really good team, but that team knows it's Westminster. Oh, that's A-Rod.
And
they
and
put
you're
their best
facing
pitcher
right.
every
So
single time.
you know, I was speaking to JD about something like that. And he says anybody could hit an average pitcher.
Yeah.
When you're facing the best all the time, that tells you if you're going to be a good ball player.
Yeah, no, for
Okay,
sure.
and then you have and your next son. How old is
Then
he?
I got Mason. He's 14 in 8th grade. Then he plays football and baseball at Westminster also. And their football
He's in 8th
team-
grade?
He's in 8th grade.
He plays on the middle school team.
Yeah, middle school baseball, and they play middle school football. Their middle school football, which is comprised of a lot of the baseball kids, were undefeated, and they beat 2 really good teams this year. So Westminster didn't have a JV football team last year. I think they're going to have one next year because this 8th grade group moving to 9th grade is going to.
Is Mason big boy?
He's getting to be pretty big. He's 14. He's probably
What position does he play?
He's linebacker, and then he plays outside linebacker football, and then he's a pitcher and right fielder in baseball.
And Ray Noriega is the baseball coach.
Ray Noriega is the baseball coach. That's right. You did your homework, man. You know all this stuff.
No, I was at the practice last week.
There you go.
But you know about Ray's son, right?
I do.
About Britton?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
My oldest one, Austin, hits with Ray also, so he's always in the facility training.
Yeah,
with all
both
those
my
guys.
sons hit with Ray.
Oh, good.
And so, all right, your daughter,
Then I have a little girl.
who's she's the chosen one.
She's the princess of the house. She's the chosen one. She's the real deal. So Addison, she's 12 years old. She's got an amazing personality. She's amazing with TikTok, amazing little dancer. You know, we're one of those parents where, you know, do you not let your kids do TikTok? You let them do TikTok, do not. So we're in between, you know, like everything. I think it's a very challenging time.
So the
to raise
question
kids.
is, I mean, at boys,
Yeah.
is if you don't allow it,
Right.
they're going to go to their friends
They
and
do
look
it
on their
anyway.
right.
Yeah, so what they
it's
do
a fine
is,
line.
the trick is parents, if you haven't figured this out, the trick is what they do is that they create one, they delete it on their phone, then they go to their buddies' phones and they delete it there, and they add it to their phone, then they log in and they do their stuff, and all of a sudden they've got this full page that you're never really able to pay attention to. So we're right in the middle on everything with them, and obviously with girls we know, and with boys we know nowadays that you've got to be with social media, but she dances and she sings, and she's got just an amazing personality, just lights up the room, and really, really well spoken and really well behaved.
Question: do you know how to line dance? Because I know your wife line dances.
It all depends on the
How late at
amount
night?
of beverages that are consumed.
Okay, so there's rumors in South Dade that
Sure.
you're thinking of opening a brewery there.
A brewery. We are. So we've submitted for brewery. Now, this originally I thought, you know, we built the berry farm April and we're open September. Okay, real quick, because the county is a lot more lax when it comes to agricultural buildings and agricultural buildings. The brewery is not quite that fast to be able to do. It's the full set of plans because it's almost looked at as industrial. So we have submitted plans. We've gone back and forth with the county. I don't know if there are 3 stages. We're at like stage 1.5 or 2. So I am hoping that in October of 2024, that's my date. I'm not saying that's when it's going to be done, but October 2024, that we can have the full structure up, brewing beer, and giving that location something.
Is it going to be on the Berry Farm property?
On the
Where?
berry farm property.
Where?
You know where the bathrooms are? You know
Yeah.
the big grass field right there?
Where the pony rides are?
Just in front of it, though. So we're going to get rid of one of the little corn boxes and the tires there. It's going to be right. It's going to be a big structure. It's not gonna be
Corn
small.
box. Come on, every kid loves going
Corn
home.
pit. Well, they're going to go to the other side.
Oh,
They'll be on the other side doing it, and then this side will be
The corn pit, if you don't know, it's just a bunch of corn, and the kids jump in it, and the kids in their shirts, their underwear, their hats.
But it's a sandbox or a mud box or a dirt box that your kids come out fairly clean in. But it's also, people know it's really big on sensory. Being able to play with that is really big with sensory for kids. So, yeah.
All right, so we have Rib Fest coming up. We
Rib
have
Fest coming up.
what's the flower event called? I'm going to make sure the wording's right.
the Flower Festival, and it's going to feature zinnias, some wildflowers. The zinnias, there's a whole field full of them, which are the big colorful wildflowers too. And then it's got corn mazes, about 4 weeks of sunflower mazes. So we've cut it in, and you can walk on it and create your own little world back there and take all the pictures that you want. And there'll be a lot of different photo ops.
I'm going to wrap it up. But a couple of years ago, I did a video with Commissioner Higgins Cohen, and it was the funniest thing because we're running and we ran into each other.
Oh, I remember. I remember that.
She's a big fan of the Berry Farm.
She's great. You know, she's great. She's great for the community.
Yeah, and then you have in Homestead, you have Commissioner or Vice Mayor Julio Guzman, football and baseball.
Another great guy.
Had Carson Newman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Played both, and he played a little minor league ball.
Oh, awesome.
So, time's up.
Yeah.
Berry Farm. You got any questions? Go to the webpage, right?
Yeah, our social media team is incredible at answering questions. So be direct. You can private message them, or you can message them right on the homepage there, and they'll get back to you with any questions. But most of the information, all the information is right there, and we're looking forward to great weather, great barbecue, and great times.
All right, everybody. This is Carl, Grant Miller here. Everybody have a great day.